All right, so I actually recently paneled myself and my group practice with insurance panels outside of Alma, outside of Headway, and I have done all the billing by myself. There's a lot of questions that I had, there's a lot of things that I got stuck on and confused with, and today I want to teach you how many things? I want to teach you, oh wow, there's a lot. These are going to be 8 practical tips, so you'll be able to watch this video and then actually be able to bill insurance or submit claims or whatever it is. This is going to be super practical, all right? And also, if this doesn't go deep enough for you, although this video goes quite deep and it's really super practical, if it doesn't do it for you, I'm going to tell you about a way you can go even deeper at the end of the video, all right? But let's jump right in. All right, so one of the first things that I learned that was quite surprising for me is that if you are independently credentialed, you as the provider need to verify the patient's insurance benefits independently. So you can do it on your own or the patient can do it as well. However, someone has to verify it. The luxury of having something like Headway or Alma is that they do it for you. Now, I know if you hire a biller, some people will do it for you as well. However, someone's got to do it. And if you're doing it yourself, which is how I've done it, you verify the benefits for the patient. This is how you know what the deductible is, what the copayment is, whatever it may be. Now, with some insurers, it's quite easy. So I am currently paneled with Cigna and Aetna. To verify a Cigna patient's insurance, you would simply go onto the Cigna portal, which you get access to during the credentialing process, and you would verify the benefits that way. You'd enter the patient's information into the portal, you'd pull it up, and you can actually see live what the benefits are. Same thing is for Aetna. They have a portal called Availity. Now, I'm having a lot of difficulty with Availity, getting locked out and all sorts of things, but essentially this works the same way. So you log in, you plug the client's information in, and then you are able to pull up their benefits, copay, coinsurance, all that kind of stuff. However, I didn't know this. I thought someone did it for you. I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I thought. So there is extra work in having to verify insurance benefits, and you do that independently. Now, if you have an EHR, I have Simple Practice. I love it. It works really well. You are able to pull up a report in Simple Practice that has the benefits. However, I think this costs money, and in my opinion, you don't need to do that. Not worth it. Just go onto one of the portals, look it up, verify the benefits that way. Number 2, you should quickly link your EHR platform to the insurers that you are credentialed with. In Simple Practice, the way you link this up is by going into the settings, into the insurance portion, and then following the instructions to link the insurance. But when you're linking, there's a couple things that you need to know. The linking process essentially allows you and your EHR to obtain reports, payment reports from the insurer. So for example, if I see a client who has Cigna and I submit a claim to Cigna and then Cigna reimburses me, you get a report of that payment. Now, traditionally, if you don't have an electronic medical record or EHR, EMR, whatever you want to call it, that report would either get mailed to you, in the mailbox, or it would be sent to the portal. So then what happens is you have this payment that comes into the bank with all these tracking numbers on it, and then you have to look up the report or the payment report either in the portal or in the mail, and then link them together to make sure that you got paid for the right appointment. Now, if you've had like 4 or 5 appointments and you're waiting on 4 or 5 letters, that's a lot of things to match up. It gets really confusing. So when you link your EHR to your insurer, you're essentially allowing the EHR to receive payment reports from an insurer. So then that Cigna client that I saw, the report goes straight into Simple Practice and actually updates the specific appointment date with that payment information. So there's no fumbling around different portals. That appointment date with all the specific information from that exact appointment date gets updated with the information from Cigna. So it would tell me how much the insurance reimbursed, how much the client owes, and you can go from there. There's no fumbling. It's super easy. Now, this process takes a little while. It's like 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it may be. The process of actually enrolling is only a few clicks. I have found that there are sometimes some issues there, so you want to follow up with your EHR if there's a big delay. The point of all this, quickly enroll in these payment reports so that a link is made between your insurer, the insurers you're paneled with, and your EHR. Secondly, the other thing you want to do very quickly is signing up for electronic fund transfers. Now, this usually has to be done with the actual insurer inside of their personal profiles. personal, inside of their profiles. So in Cigna, you'd go to the Cigna portal, you enroll in EFT, electronic fund transfer, and you do the same thing with Aetna. They'll tell you how to do this in the onboarding process of getting paneled, but you want to do it as quickly as possible. This then allows for the insurer, instead of sending paper checks, they actually send paper checks to a mailbox if you don't have EFT set up. Now that's a pain, right? I don't even know how to rip checks very well. I stink at ripping checks. Anyway, EFT then allows it to go straight into your bank account. Clearly, this is much easier. Again, this lags a little bit, so do this as quickly as possible. Now, to be clear, having payment reports coming into your EHR and having EFT is important. However, while those things are pending, you can still submit claims through your EHR. Now, in simple practice, all I need to do to submit a claim is to make sure that the insurance information is entered into the client's chart and that that client is labeled as an insurance client. And then from there, I'm actually able to submit claims. So you can go ahead and submit claims through Simple Practice or your EHR even before the EFT is established or the payment reports are coming into Simple Practice. So my first couple of claims that I submitted, I did it in Simple Practice. However, the report came via mail and so did the check. All right, so the good news is you can submit before all that's enrolled. However, enroll as quickly as possible. And I know I'm using this term submitting claims very loosely. Some people don't even know what that means. When you submit a claim, it is essentially the form that you submit to insurers following a session. So for example, if you see a client for a 60-minute session, you then have to submit a claim to the insurer for that session. That notifies the insurer that you had the session. It provides the session details. Was it telehealth? How long was it? That kind of thing. And then that triggers them to review it and then sends you a payment for the contracted amount. Now, in Simple Practice or any EHR that links with insurers, submitting a claim really is as simple as clicking a few buttons. So in Simple Practice, when I see a client, and I finish that session, I then go to the insurance panel on the left-hand side. I click in there and it automatically tells me what clients I've seen and which ones I have to submit claims for. I click on submit claim and then it actually auto-populates the claim form that goes to the insurer. All the information is already there. Sometimes I do need to modify details if I'm doing incident to billing or supervisory billing, or if I need to change a modifier. However, most of the information is already pre-populated. If you do want specifics on how to bill for specific appointment types, you definitely want to check in with a specific biller because they can give you the specific information for that. However, if you're just doing standard appointments and you know what modifiers to use, you simply click submit claim. It's all there. It will even tell you if you're missing information. All right. So that is quite simple. Another question that people often ask is, what do you do if a client has a copay? Well, it's quite simple. In Simple Practice or the EHR that you're using, you will enter the copayment amount. This is often found on the patient's insurance card. Now, sometimes you get this information after calling the insurance company or looking up their benefits. When a patient has a copay, you charge the credit card on file the copayment after the visit, and that copayment goes to you, the provider, right? It's just like a cash transaction. So you charge the amount of the copay on the credit card in the platform that you use, that goes to you, and then you submit a claim to the insurer, and on that claim, you're going to have the amount that you've contracted with the insurer for, right? So for every insurer that you are paneled with, you have contracted rates. So then you will submit the claim to the insurer and it will be the contracted rate. Let's just say, for example, it's $50 minus the copayment. Let's say it's $20. So then on the claim, the client's responsibility would be $20 and the insurer's would be $30. You submit the claim, it'll have $30 on there. They'll review it and then they'll write you a check or pay you the $30 remainder. So that's how a copayment works. Sometimes clients have what's called coinsurance. This means that the client has a certain responsibility for the total visit cost, and the insurance company picks up a certain percentage of the total visit cost. Let's say, for example, a client has 60% coinsurance or 40% coinsurance, whatever it may be. It can be difficult to determine the exact amount that the insurer is going to pay back, because what I've heard is that when they have coinsurance, that there's a bunch of factors that impact how much an insurance company is going to pay back. So the tip that I got that has worked really well is that if a client has coinsurance, what you will do is you'll see the client, you'll submit the claim for the full contracted rate, and then the insurance company will pay you the percentage amount back, and there will be a difference there. And then that difference is what the client owes. That way you don't make any mistake by charging the wrong percentage. You simply submit the claim to the insurance company. You don't charge the client anything. Wait for the insurer to pay you, see what that amount is. The difference is typically what the client owes. So this is a really great way to do that. Another question that comes up often is, what do you do with deductibles? So sometimes clients have deductibles. Let's say, for example, someone comes in and they have a $1,000 deductible. Now it's really hard to keep track of that, right? And you're not going to call the insurance company over and over again to determine where they're at with their deductible. I mean, what if they're seeing outpatient providers what if they're seeing other doctors and providers and that deductible is changing? It can be really confusing. So what I was recommended to do is that if a client has a large deductible remaining at the time of the visit, which you can check in their portal, you can assume that you could charge the contracted amount because their deductible has not been met. So if you know it has not been met and there's a significant deductible left, you can fairly safely charge the contracted rate. You would still submit the claim, but that contracted rate, you would charge the credit card on file, and then that would go to you. As the person nears their deductible, which you do want to check every so often, you want to see where that deductible is. As they get nearer, then you are going to want to be more cautious. You may want to call the insurer to determine exactly where they're at, how much you should charge them. But you do want to be mindful as you approach the deductible and the limit being met where they're at. So you don't have to check it all the time, but definitely check it once in the beginning. Check it as you get closer, or if you think it's getting closer, that kind of thing. But essentially the way the deductible works is that until that deductible is met, clients are often responsible for 100% of the cost of the session. It's always the contracted rate, not your cash rate, not your private rate. It's the rate you contracted with the insurance company. So for example, let's just say it's $100. This person has a $1,000 deductible. They have not seen any other providers this year. You can assume that that session, you can submit the claim, charge the client the $100 because that's the contracted rate. It's via credit card. You get that directly. The insurance gets the claim that $100 has been paid to you. And then that $100 comes off the deductible. And then let's say they see you 10, 15 times. That deductible has been met. You then see, well, what is the benefit after the deductible? Is it a percentage? Is it a copayment? And then you go from there. But that's how a deductible would work. Now, if this information was helpful for you and you want to go even deeper, I have recently started a monthly membership program. It is 2 parts. With one monthly membership of $25 per month, you get access to a community where you can ask questions that I personally review and respond to. You can request specific webinars that I'll make videos around. It's really personalized support that I respond to and review. So it's kind of like having an individual consultation, but without the exorbitant cost. And additionally, you get access to an ever-growing resource database of private practice tools like guides and checklists and how-tos and all sorts of things in regards to starting a private practice. Inside of that toolbox, for example, there's a guide on how to start a private practice. There's resources on starting group practices, and you can even request that I build out special tools. So with this monthly membership, you get the community aspect where you get personalized support, and then you have an ever-growing resource database. It is $25 per month. The first month is free using code BETAUSER. Again, it's like one-on-one consultations without the exorbitant cost. I'll leave the link to that down below. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you learned something. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you soon.